Hi everybody, it is Danielle Dietrich, and I am here to give some more thoughts on the brand spanking new Interim Final Rule and guidance issued by the US DOT this week and published in the Code of Federal Regulations today. The Federal Register, let's say, um, and open for public comments. So I have been fielding phone calls, emails, text messages. I've been trying to stay in contact with a lot of my folks, a lot of my clients, a lot of my contacts. Everyone's in a tizzy about this, rightfully so, because in short, this is a bit of a mess. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the details, so earlier this week, they came out with an interim final rule, effective immediately, of course. And it said that the DOT, the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Justice got together and decided that the presumption of disadvantage for people of certain racial backgrounds and women, well, that's unconstitutional. They made that decision, even though these regulations are authorized and have been repeatedly reauthorized by Congress. And these specific presumptions in this specific regulation have not been deemed unconstitutional by a court of law. So there is some action pending in the Mid-America Milling case, as a lot of folks know, but the judge has not issued any orders making such a determination. And so the changes are basically going to eliminate any reference to race or ethnic background or sex in the program. And so every single individual claiming to be disadvantaged will have to make an individual showing via a personal narrative of their social and economic disadvantage. Please note that this will go for every single person being claimed to be disadvantaged to qualify for the program. So that means, I've got a number of engineering firms, some with multiple owners. Say you have 12 owners and you rely on 7 of them to get to your 51% majority minority owned. All 7 of those individuals will need to prepare a personal narrative statement, and it will have to pass muster with the certifying agency. So that is going to be a huge task. I'm not sure of the exact number of DBEs in the country, but it is in the tens of thousands. And then, it's not hard to extrapolate from that. And, we might be dealing with potentially a couple 100,000 personal narratives that are going to have to be reviewed and either approved or disapproved by state agencies. Other things to be aware of is that the agencies previously had goals for projects and contracts. Well, all of that is on hold until they reevaluate everyone. And once everyone's reevaluated, then they're going to set new goals. So what this program ends up being, I don't know. Is it just a small business program? Why didn't they just create a small business program? I don't know. So here's some of my critique, my issues with what is out there. I kind of always thought something like this was going to happen, that we were going to shift towards a small business program, and I was okay with that. However, I'm really not okay with this version that's ruled up because there are so many problems with it. First, there are no objective factors provided. Everything is entirely subjective. I feel for the certifying agencies, like what are they going to go on here? What are the criteria? It's really not stated. So when there's no guidance on that and it's so subjective, this is going to lead to very inconsistent findings. Somebody might be considered disadvantaged in one state, but not the other, which leads me to my next question. Who is supposed to be making this determination? Is it the home state where you were first certified, or is it in every state in which you were certified? What happens if you are certified in multiple states and they have inconsistent determinations? Because under the regulations, once you are decertified in one state, you are decertified in all. Uh, do the interstate certification and decertification rules apply? We don't know. Specifically, this interim final rule said that 26.87, so that is the general rule regarding decertification, does not apply. Well, that I think is its biggest failing because that eliminates all due process. And that is a constitutional issue. And I think if this is challenged, that's where it's going to be challenged. And that's going to be really hard for them to overcome. There are no protections in place for you as a DBE or ACDBE trying to get recertified. You are not entitled to a hearing. You are not going to receive a detailed notice of decision explaining why you lost your certification. It is unclear as to whether or not you will be able to appeal because you need a notice of decision to appeal to know what you are appealing. And is the US DOT going to be willing to hear appeals? It has not heard any appeals, to my knowledge, since the new administration took place in January. I heard this myself directly from the US DOT via email back in April. I have submitted updated FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests since then. I cannot get a response from anybody at the US DOT as to whether my request is being processed, which asked about appeals. So there's no guarantee you're going to get an appeal here. So we are in just a crazy, confusing time. I'm asking if any of you receive communications from your certifying agencies about what you're going to need to do or what they're looking for. Please send to me so that I can learn about it and so that I can educate everyone because everyone's kind of up in the air on this. I will be assisting clients with this process, of course, with preparing those narrative statements and trying to deal with all of these issues and how they affect your company. I also want you all to be aware that there are a lot of people out there trying to take advantage of this situation. I had at least 4 clients this morning forward me the same email they received from a kind of a generic-ish website to assist them in writing their narrative. Well, when you go to that website, that personal narrative statement, sort of like the form and everything, is still dealing with sex and ethnicity and national origin, race discrimination, which you can't use in these personal narratives. So please be aware of those sorts of things and opportunistic individuals. Please deal with someone that you trust. Really, a lawyer would be a great idea as opposed to someone who is not familiar. And hey, us lawyers have ethical duties that normal people don't. So I will be assisting with all of that. I will be available with all that. I know this is a tough time. I'm hoping that by sharing information, I can at least help you be educated and informed as to what is going on so that you're not left guessing. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to be back soon with more detailed information about what you should consider putting in your personal narrative, what you should not put in your personal narrative, which I think is going to be an issue as well. So thank you and talk to you soon.